Welcome everyone to TradeStation and another installment of our Meet the TradeStation Team podcast series. This podcast series is designed to take you inside the heart and soul of TradeStation, to meet the people that are working every day to make your experience with TradeStation the best that it can be.
Welcome everyone to another edition of Meet the TradeStation Team. I'm your host Michael Burke, Vice President of Client Education here at TradeStation. And today we're very fortunate to be joined by TradeStation's Director of Product Strategy and Head of Innovation Labs, James Putra. James is the architect for many of the new technology and innovative ideas under development here at TradeStation. James, thanks for joining us.
Thanks, Mike.
Tell us a little bit about your background, how you got involved in the markets, and how you found TradeStation.
Sure. So interestingly enough, when I was in high school, my dad was pressing me really hard to get involved in the financial markets. And I, as a teenager, hated it. I said, no way, not a chance, not going to happen. I don't want anything to do with it. And little by little, he opened a brokerage account for me. And I think my first stock purchase that he convinced me to buy was Best Buy. As soon as I made a little bit of money there, I was hooked. That was it for me. I went to college at FAU, graduated college, got involved with a couple of different startups. We were really focused around trading technology, and I was hooked. As soon as you start making a little bit of money and getting some successes and learning more, there's just so much more in the markets to learn. And every day I kept learning more and more. We worked really hard to kind of develop these tools, got to put them into practice as TradeStation customers in the hedge funds we were working at, and really see the efforts of doing the hard work and the analysis up front, how much time and money was saved in the long run by being able to create some really useful tools that we could expand to other traders inside of our hedge funds.
So James, how long have you been with TradeStation, and how did you find TradeStation?
So actually, TradeStation found me. Back in 2012, I joined TradeStation Technologies. Coming out of the startups, one of the last companies I was with, we grew this company and just had a spectacular explosion. We needed a little bit of a break. So I decided to moonlight in corporate world for a little while. Moved out to California, was at E-Trade for a little while, enjoyed it, but really my passion was dealing with the professional level tools at TradeStation. And then when I got a call from TradeStation one day to come interview, I was like, thank you, I'm coming to the mothership. I got really good a chance to influence the direction of the product, and they had a really good opportunity and idea of how we could take the product global and get this into Japan. And so I was really excited about that opportunity, and I've been here since. Incidentally, it's the longest job I've had.
That's great. So James, what is your primary goal right now at TradeStation?
So this is an interesting question. Because I have two different roles, I wear two different hats, but those hats tend to merge pretty well together. Under the strategy, our goal is really to figure out what types of products we're going to need to position the company going forward over the next few years, and really figure out which customers we want to go after, what tools do they need. And the challenge there is we're trying to figure out things that don't really exist and customers that we don't really have, and how we're going to satisfy those. So it's an interesting dilemma. And the markets are changing so fast, so we're really trying to figure out how to reposition the company for the next 5 to 10 years. And then on the flip side, in the innovation labs, I run a really experimental program there, and we are constantly looking for what changes are happening in the market and how are we going to try these new different tools and tech and really experiment with the existing customer base and our future customer base to try to figure out what works. So I kind of think about it like this. The strategy group is developing the map of where we're going to go, and the innovation group is building the bridge as we walk across it. So it's really ad hoc, it's really experimental.
I know a lot of the stuff you're working on is top secret, but can you give us a hint of some of the tools that your team is developing?
There's quite a few things we're working on in the lab. We have a lot of experiments that are running in parallel, and I can't go into details on most of them. But what I can tell you about is what's currently out there that we're experimenting with live in the market. We've launched our chatbot, which enables us to try to design a conversational interface. It's an area that we're pretty excited about, and there's a lot of buzz, a lot of activity in the market right now, is how our conversational interface is going to change the way people are interacting with the market.
So James, let me stop you right there. I'll bet a bunch of our customers have probably interacted with chatbots and didn't even know it. Can you explain what a chatbot is?
Absolutely. A chatbot is really a conversational robot that helps you interact with a variety of different tasks or companies. You can get news through a chatbot that's on MarketWatch. You can communicate with American Express for a chatbot about your statements. There's a bot out there called Trim that helps you track down your automated recurring subscriptions that helps you. So it's really helping you perform a function and is doing so in a conversational language. So imagine text message, but you're texting with a robot instead of a person, and that robot is intelligent enough to help you answer questions and find the information you need. The the great thing about the chatbots is they live in a variety of different places. Facebook is really becoming one of the standards in the US. WeChat has a bunch of robots if you're over in Asia, and a variety of other tools like Slack or Cortana. They also have these integrated chat functionalities that are backed by some type of AI or machine learning that help you to really perform the functions and offload a lot of tasks you're trying to do.
So James, what will the chatbot look like?
Ours is a chatbot that's going to help us do some of that experimentation. It's available on Facebook. You can find it at the sandbox.tradestation.com website. And our goal with this is really to see if we can reimagine how people will engage with trading. And the reason we're doing this is a lot of the companies that are releasing chatbots or conversational interfaces, they're really just bolting them onto their existing experience, much like you would add a mobile app to your existing product set. There hasn't really been a good, solid gold standard developed yet. And that's what we're out there trying to achieve. How do we create these conversational workflows? And this is where there hasn't been a lot of really exciting advances yet. And it's an opportunity where we're trying to find that gold standard. And through what we're trying to do is try to help the customers guide us in how they want to engage with the conversational interface, rather than us imagining something in a conference room and then slamming it down the customer's throat. So we're hoping that through that collaboration with the customers and the experimentation with the lab, we can get closer to that gold standard and try to reimagine what the workflows would be for somebody from an investor perspective. And one of the reasons why we're looking at that is when you look at a normal interface, a mobile app, for example, things are organized from an information architecture where they're organized in a hierarchy perspective so you can find the information. Now, we don't converse that way. Even just listen to this podcast, I'm all over the place and talking about things here, things there. We tend to have questions that go left, that go right, until we really figure out what we want. So that's where the opportunity is to help figure out what the way that people want to talk about the markets and really put something together for them. So if you want to take a look at the bot that we have, take a look at sandbox.tradestation.com, jump in, help us figure out how the new workflow should look. We're pretty excited about what's going on there. We're also pretty active in the space. We're going to be in San Francisco on September 12th. I'll be out there at the Chatbot Conference hosted by ChatLife. So we got a couple of different events that are happening we're participating in. And if anybody would like to reach me, just shoot me an email at sandbox@tradestation.com or connect with me on LinkedIn. And we can try to meet up in San Francisco and talk about the various chatbots that are out there.
That's exciting. Things are happening so fast. It's really going to be an exciting time for traders.
Yeah, absolutely. The pace at which innovation is happening right now in the fintech space is mind-boggling. We went through this long period of time where not a lot happened. We were just kind of innovating on new derivative contracts, and now with the amount of money that's pouring into fintech, it's mind-boggling how fast things are moving, how much things are changing. We saw
how much power customers are going to have in their hand.
How much power they're going to have. Even for us as an established player, the startups are really moving and changing the game for us, and we're keeping pace. However, think about something as simple as robo-advisors. That was all the rage about 4 years ago, and that industry grew and matured in a matter of 2 to 3 years. Now it's just a standard. Everybody will have one, and they're just there.
Yep. So James, since we're on the topic of what's going to be happening in the future, what is your take on the financial markets moving forward?
So it's interesting, talking from the brokerage perspective, there's a lot of changes happening right now where brokerage is becoming a commodity. All of us are really trying to compete for the customer base and adding value to the customers. And what we're seeing is that commissions are going down to next to zero. And that's been that way for some time. So that's causing all the firms to really think about what kind of value we're offering to the customers. And TradeStation offers this really powerful analytics toolkits, and we really help you to try to analyze the markets. And as you start to go forward, a lot of the firms are shifting to become digital companies, and they're trying to provide a really powerful digital experience that wraps around the customer. So we understand who you are. We can help make your decisions a little bit easier and better. Some of the examples I like to give is we know on Tuesday at 10 o'clock, if you always lose that trade, we know about that. Shouldn't we be able to tell you that maybe take a step back, grab a cup of coffee, try to look in a different area? And so we're all moving towards providing much more content and value-added services that will wrap around the customer with the goal of making them more effective at what they do. Because it's in our best interest and the customer's interest to make them more effective, because then the more money they make, the more they want to trade, the more they want to stay with us, and the more they're going to tell their friends about them. It's kind of like how I got involved. As soon as I made my first dollar on Best Buy, that was it. I was hooked.
So James, if you could share with our audience the one thing that you think has helped you be successful in your career, what would that be?
I think it's pretty straightforward for me. The most important thing that I attribute my success to is really focusing on the ability to learn and really trying to sharpen my mind so that I can learn as fast as I possibly can. So I've got this insatiable curiosity, and because I've learned early on how to learn, it allows me to absorb pretty much anything I can put my hands on. I figured that I could specialize in accounting or finance or anything, but that would give me a strong area of specialization. If I specialized in learning, you could drop me in any job, any place in the world with any person, and I would be able to figure out how to become successful in that role. And focusing on learning, it helped me to develop a really strong mindset that it doesn't matter. I know how to learn and I can figure it out, and we'll get through anything we have to. And that's really been my strength, is just always being curious, always being willing to learn. And really, I think that allows me to focus on putting myself in uncomfortable positions as much as possible to stretch my boundaries and continue to learn, and really kind of forces me to be willing to change at a moment's notice. And that's kind of evident in everything that I do, especially through the innovation group, where we're changing every single day. We're not married to any one decision. We just constantly learn, constantly adapt, constantly change. And whether you're trading in the markets, whether you're just looking to get started, that's something that you need to know. You have to put the time in, you have to learn. And if you focus on figuring out how you're going to learn and absorb that information, you'll be successful.
That's great advice. Well, again, I want to thank our guest, James Putra, for spending this time with us today. Thanks, James.
Thanks again, Mike. I really appreciate the time. Love talking about this. And anytime you want to talk more, I'm always available for you.
This was great, and we really appreciate you doing this. And there's so much more we can talk about. We'll have to have you on again.
Absolutely. Love to.
So thank you again, everybody, for listening. And be sure to tune in to more of our TradeStation podcasts. And don't forget to visit our website at TradeStation.com to learn more about our outstanding educational resources and online brokerage services. The preceding podcast was for educational purposes only. All of the symbols and trading ideas discussed by the instructors and guests were for educational purposes and not recommendations. Active trading is not suitable for everyone. Options trading carries a high degree of risk. You can find the characteristic and risks of standardized options disclosure and additional disclosures on the TradeStation website.
TradeStation is an award-winning broker offering trading in stocks, stock options, and futures, all within one trading platform with low commissions. But you also get the outstanding TradeStation analysis platform with advanced charting, real-time scanning, and powerful option analytics. Our mobile app lets you take your trading on the road. To learn more, I invite you to visit our website at TradeStation.com.